Well, good afternoon, everyone, and we're back. Yes, I'm back here with my buddy over there, Keith Meldrum, over there in Canada. Good morning to you, Keith.
And good
Yeah,
afternoon to you. Mhm.
yeah. Listen, we've had a little bit of a break. We've been busy with stuff. I know that,
Yeah.
and I think you've been busy over there in Canada with doing some work with. Who was it with Pain Canada? Was it or
No, so it's called the Pacific Pain Forum.
ah?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I thought with this video, perhaps we can. Could you briefly sort of tell me, excuse me, can you briefly tell me, well, tell viewers and listeners what that was all about and what you did over there?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Pete. So a week ago Friday, it's the annual Pacific Pain Forum, and it's held in Vancouver, British Columbia every year. Started
Hmm.
off over 20 years ago. It's just a little tiny one-day education seminar, literally in the basement of one of the local hospitals, where they would talk about pain education. And it's now grown to the point where this year it's not a huge conference, but it was sold out, 200 people, 30 folks on the waiting list, and a full day event of presenters who talk about various aspects of chronic pain, how to manage it, lived experiences, all of those things. It just keeps growing year over year, and
Yeah.
it was a really great event. This year it was an interesting theme because it talked about not every presentation, but the overall theme was about trauma and pain.
Hmm.
And I know I had a chance, even though I was there working, helping run the day, I got a chance to listen to a couple of presentations, and it was interesting. I learned some interesting stuff about sort of that relationship between trauma and pain. So
Yeah. Right.
um, it was really good. It keeps growing year over year, and hopefully we'll just see this continue to grow. But it's getting to get a big draw. We have lots of healthcare providers, not as many doctors as we would like there, but some. But definitely there are physicians
Yeah.
who are in the room, but lots of occupational therapists, physical therapists. So a lot in the healthcare field, which is good because then they go back to their respective workplaces and take their new knowledge with them.
What was the key messages that you take home messages for you from that gathering?
And what I see year over year is the overarching sort of message that this conference or this forum puts forward is educating these healthcare providers and understanding the human experience of pain.
Yeah.
You and I know it, but that's often what's missed in healthcare. So a lot of what I heard on Friday, probably more so than other years, was that connection to people. There was lots of talk about, validating people, empathy, listening, and the importance. And this was great because it's healthcare providers talking to other healthcare providers and saying, when you do these things, when you validate, you listen, you connect with people, you support them, that changes their path. So that was a really strong message that I saw at this conference.
You told me earlier on where we before we recorded this, you had a fan come up to you. Someone called Shuby.
Yeah, yeah. So she introduced herself as Shubi Sharma.
Yeah.
She's an occupational therapist. She works at one of the hospitals there in Vancouver. And I'm just standing there doing my thing as part of the planning committee, and then this young woman comes up to me and she's just very excited and she introduced herself and she said to me she wanted to let me know how much she appreciated the work that you and I do. She specifically said, I listened to the videos that you and Pete do. I can't remember all her words, but she said it was so important. It was so bang on. She listens to it all the time. She said that she's a huge fan of what we do. And I was really taken aback because you and I have talked about this, a fair bit. The work that we do in this advocacy space, all the others, we put things out there and you never really know how
Um,
it's received.
yeah.
So when you get somebody who takes 3 minutes of their life to tell you how much it means to them, it means a lot.
Well, it means a lot to me. Hey, Shuby, if you fancy coming along and being part of this our little conversation,
Yeah.
drop me a line or Keith a line, and come and join our conversation. Like, we'd love to have you along. And you can be first member of. Never thought of starting a fan club, but you perhaps you could be our could be our
Well, I
first
mean,
member.
yeah, it would be great, and you and I know. I mean, I think we both pretty much have a deep affinity for the occupational therapy profession
Yeah,
because
yeah,
they really seem to understand the importance of supporting people and helping them regain function and meaning in their life.
yeah,
So, yeah, so we'll find a way to tag Shuby in this, and
yeah. It'd
maybe
be
we can
cool.
get her to join us one day.
Yeah, it'd be fantastic. Yeah. But anybody else out there like Shuby, we like feedback,
Yes,
because
would be nice.
sometimes, yeah. So let us know, you find these useful. If there's any topics you want us to talk about, etc. If you want to come and join us, just come, let us know. It'd be great to have you on board.
Yeah.
So you've been super busy, and in a way, we were both sort of super busy in this
Well, you
last
were much
week.
busier. You were herding cats with a string there for a while.
Well, as you know, as the watchers and listeners will know that myself, you and myself, we every February we do a conference, a worldwide conference for people living with persistent pain and also healthcare professionals who support them. And I
Mhm,
think it was the latter part of last year. I was talking to Ronya Daniels and Dave Oxley, who work with us on the
mhm.
pain one about, well, why don't we do something for people with long-term conditions?
Yeah.
Because you've got several long-term conditions. I've got several long-term conditions, and I just felt perhaps those people were being, how could we help and support them? So, uh, I say this is we decided at the back end of last year to do a similar conference to the pain one, but only
Mhm,
for people with long-term conditions. And
mhm.
we actually ran it yesterday, the 25th of April. And it was a bitty bonus for us because it was in UK time, so it
Yes.
wasn't like the getting up in the middle of the night job. But hey, one day perhaps we might have to do something in the middle. I don't know yet, but
Right.
but and Keith, you was to me it was an inaugural um, conference. I think yesterday we were you, me, and all the other presenters and Grania and Dave, I think we were making history because I'm really, if someone wants to tell me, no, there's already one done, but I think what we did yesterday was created history by doing a supported self-management program for people with long-term conditions and also healthcare professionals who support them. So we had the same format as we did with the pain one, but
Mhm.
you was yeah, but you held the light there, mate, because you was our very first presenter. I mean, I know it was in the middle of your night for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you hung around for listened to a couple of other presentations, but I mean, what was your initial take on it, Keith?
Thought it was a home run, Pete. When you came up with the idea, and I remember you telling me that you wanted to broaden the focus to support self-management for people with long-term conditions. It just, it really landed because, like you said, there's so many people who have, and the fundamental principles of supported self-management, which you've been a leader in for so many years in pain, really applicable to all long-term health conditions. So it really offers a platform to take this great tool called self-management, sport self-management, and offer it to more people. So I thought it was great. I only got a chance to listen to like one and a half of the other presenters because by then it was after 2 o'clock in the morning and my
Yeah,
clock screen was running down. But they were amazing, and it's really refreshing and heartening to see these people who work in this space as healthcare providers. They didn't catch some of the other people who live with long-term conditions, but one presenter has long-term conditions
yeah,
and is a healthcare professional. But to hear their experience and their expertise and their knowledge presented in such a good way, it was so meaningful and understandable and relatable. I
yeah,
thought it was
simple.
really good. So it's a great start.
Yeah, because it was to me it was a good start, and
Yeah.
for me it was a fantastic conference. And it reminded me of, I was thinking about it in the afternoon that the conference reminded me of when I worked in the NHS on something
Mm,
called the Expert Patients Program, where that concept was it was like people attended a 6 week course, and but for people with all long-term conditions, so whether you had physical or emotional stuff and whatnot.
mhm.
And we went through sort of an agenda as part of the Stanford model. But I always used to fascinate with that program because people who had different long-term conditions, but they could all identify with each other about
Right? Yeah,
how those conditions affected them, like poor sleep, the low confidence,
yeah,
etc., etc. And the conference on yesterday, the Saturday, reminded me so much of those days, like, and I was sitting there thinking, God, we got to do, well, we are going to do another one of them, like. So, not I know it would be great to do them on a more frequent basis, but um, well, but we got to look after ourselves as well, like. But
yes,
but
yeah.
but anyway, I've arranged another one for next year, 3rd of April, 2027. We'll start at 9 o'clock in the morning. Again, it'll be donation only, and if everybody that registers will get a recording of the video of the conference and also an audio version. So yeah, so I think for me it was a great. And if we had, I guess if we had the resources and perhaps had a bit more support, we could do more like. But I don't know. Everybody seems to be strapped at the moment for
Yeah.
resources and support and whatnot. But yeah, it's been really good. Anyway, we're busy planning our next paint one on the oh God, it's going to ask me what date it is now, aren't you? Do you remember the
I
date?
can't remember off the top of my head, but we know it's in the latter part of
Yeah,
February.
the latter
Yeah.
part of February. So
Yeah.
we're putting together. We've already got some people lined up
Yep.
to be part of the conference, but it could be a little bit different this year, Keith, aren't we?
Sorry, what was that?
We're going to be a little bit different this year with our
Yeah.
conference for the
Yeah.
paint one. So. Um, watch this space, as they say. I think it's going to be good, but I think it will surprise a few people. But we're looking to not take it in another direction, but be more inclusive rather than exclusive.
Right. Yeah, going to broaden that lens because it's really important. So
Yeah,
yeah, I just back to the conference yesterday. I just thought that was such a great idea you had. It reaches so many other people, and you hit the nail on the head. You talked about your experience in the NHS and how people with different conditions
yeah,
all felt connected and supported by one another, and that's what's most important. Is even though people have different long-term health issues,
yeah,
the similarities are really connecting.
yeah,
And that connection, that peer support, that understanding, most important thing.
yeah, yeah. So anyway, there you go.
Yeah. Mhm.
Anyway, we'll be seeing you all again soon.
Yes.
On another video. So Shuby, if you're watching this, get in
Yeah.
contact. And hey, if you want another one of our fans that like this sort of video, and you want to come and join us, you're welcome to. If you're a healthcare professional or
Yeah.
someone living with persistent pain. Oh, by the way, before I forget, Katie over there, Katie Frost has sends her regards and says hello. So
All right.
yeah, she's one of your fans, man. Yeah, you
She's
got
she's good people. Yeah. She's a big fan of you. I know that. She's told me.
She does.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
she said hi, and but yeah, she really digs everything that you put out there as well, Keith. So
Well, I appreciate that.
yeah. So anyway, take care, everyone, and we'll see you again soon on another. I don't know what do you call these conversations, gatherings, or whatever.
Cats. I don't know. We just kind of started doing
Uh,
this and we keep going. So
just call it Pete and Keith's fan, or Keith and Pete's fan club.
yeah. Yeah. It's always be good to hear from other people. We always love to talk to other people instead of just each
Yeah.
other. So,
Yeah, great stuff. Anyway, take care, dude. See you soon.
all
Ciao.
right. See you,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.